Chennai.
The Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council of India, popularly known as GJEPC, hosted the International Diamond Conference in Mumbai recently. The main objective of the conference was to bring together the leading miners, diamantaires, retailers, bankers and analysts from across the globe on a platform to discuss the supply and demand issues faced by the global diamond industry. The two-day conference witnessed ministers and delegates from mining countries, heads of retail and luxury brands, and other prominent personalities of the diamond industry.
Honorable Mining Minister, Minister for Power, Renewable Energy and Coal, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Mining Minister of Zimbabwe, and leading dignitaries on the dais, and from across the world, all the leading stakeholders in the industry of diamonds are present here today. And I must welcome all of them for having traveled from all over the world to attend this important conference, which will discuss everything related to diamonds. You see, the ethics, this industry is extremely committed, and especially Council is extremely committed that we, being the leaders in the world markets, face all the challenges and really address them. We have an insurance policy for our workers which is going extremely well. Part of it is paid by the Council. It's growing by leaps and bounds. Within 1 year, it has gone up 5 times. I call upon all the centers in India to use this policy for the benefit of their workers. Thank you very much.
The event was graced by dignitaries such as Piyush Goyal, Minister of State with independent charge for power, coal, new and renewable energy and mines, and Walter K. Chidakwa, Minister of Coal, Zimbabwe, who made their presence felt at the inauguration. They addressed the gathering on the topic of mining and discussed the importance of improving its trade relations with gems and diamond-rich countries.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it truly is good to see the world converge in India to discuss an important subject which has impacted several lives both in India, several lives in Africa, and businesses around the world. Until Praveen Bhai just told me, I honestly thought that the Indian diamond industry is more about imports and a little bit of processing here and exporting it back. The figures just shared with me where you add almost $8 billion of value in India is truly quite impressive. I do believe that both of us, the industry and government, will have to work in partnership in a spirit of trust, and that trust can only be generated out of action. I think we have a great opportunity in India. Praveen Bhai was telling me about some concerns, some constraints that the industry faces, even while importing diamonds directly from the African countries, in setting up that special zone that was envisaged for diamonds to be brought in directly into India. There is a huge ability to game the system. So when we are giving a license which allows you to prospect and then exploit a particular area, effectively the government gets the ability to choose who will be given that mine and to choose which will be a potentially good mine, a potentially good reserve area, and give it to a person of choice. And we would like the entire process to be most transparent and to be in a manner where the benefit of these natural resources, the benefit of whatever natural wealth India has, is used to serve the poorest of the poor, to give them a better quality of life, And the revenue out of these reserves are expected to work for the benefit of the poor. Truly, the time has come for India to lead the world and not follow the world. We need not live in the lost glory of 2000 years ago or 1000 years ago and take happiness and pride in what we were once upon a time. Let's now plan for the present and the future and make this country what we want it to be. And therefore, we are going to explore the mineral wealth of this country at cost, even with an incentive structure for those who help us in the exploration process. And then we'll invite everybody, both Indian and internationally, to come and bid in an honest, transparent bidding process for exploiting those mines. And the revenue that comes out of those mines, out of the bidding process, will go to serve the poor of this country. I would like you to come and tell me that, look, these are the 40, 50 people in India who have decided to get into mining, into exploration, into exploitation of mines, and make India truly self-reliant, truly a country where we can say we have not run out of diamonds in the 18th century, but diamonds are forever in India. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we feel honored to participate in this edition of the International Diamond Conference, Mines to Markets, at this 50th anniversary of the Gems and Jewellery Export Promotion Council, GJEPC. For many years, global diamond markets have played a leading role in shaping the trajectory of diamond industry, creating demand for several mining economies around the globe. For us in Africa, where more than 60% of the world's diamond resources are hosted, the resources critical to socio-economic development, we, the Africans, who are the source of not less than 60% of the diamonds that are cut and polished across the world, as I said, continue to wallow in poverty. Our people suffer. And our people suffer because we have not taken positions that support them. We have not done what is necessary to ensure that the African child benefits from the mineral resources. And yet, there is very little to show for the 100 years of mining. And if we of this generation of Africans continue to use the same model that was used 100 years ago, then future generations will blame us in the same way we blame the last generation of Africans. And so, what we look for, what we want when we come to such gatherings, is to discuss a model that ensures that on the one hand, yes, you develop your industries, but on the other hand, we also develop our countries. Having spent 500 years in the diamond industry and developing it to what it is today, the Belgians extended that to the Indians. They supported them with the necessary skills. And I don't see why India cannot do that to Africa. I don't see why Belgium cannot do that to Africa. Yes, some of it is happening, but let's make it stronger.
Financial crisis era, we had almost no growth in retail sales of diamond jewelry. Diamond cutting and polishing industry competing even more fiercely, bringing down margins further. This got even more difficult due to huge price volatility, stressing the capital base of the industry. Financial crisis also brought increased compliances.
On behalf of GIA, I convey our congratulations to the GJEPC on completion of 50 glorious years. I have witnessed the industry transformation in past 30 years, and this is a result of commitment and leadership provided by the GJEPC, led by Chairman Shri Pandya and some of his predecessors, Shri Sanjay Bhai, Vasant Bhai, Vipul Bhai, and many others, Rajiv Jain, who is here. So we thank you all for being the leaders and getting us where we are today. Thank you all.
It's time to take a very short break. We will be back with more highlights of the event after this short break. Kaim Evan Zohar, a leading diamond trade journalist, editor and industry analyst, delved onto topics for the discussion which concerns the diamond industry's production and the future of the industry. His insights are followed by presentations by Paul Rowley and Andrei Polyakov, who discuss the importance of stakeholders and the challenges synthetic diamonds propose, respectively.
We are celebrating here 50 years of India. Some of my old friends around here will remember that organizations like the World Federation of Diamond Bourses and the Manufacturers Association, they were doing everything they could to keep India out. We have to congratulate India for what it is, because the diamond industry today is India. Let's look at the issues that we are going to have in the days ahead. We will be focusing on a number of issues: how to grow and prosper in an industry which rough production is set to decline. There are a lot of things happening today which are the direct result of the lack of profitability. People are getting desperate. People look for ways still to make it, and then they go very often the wrong way.
We've had to change and adapt to maintain success, but we're able to do so as we invested in understanding what it is that makes us valuable to our stakeholders. Where our product is sold on an emotionally significant as an emotionally significant symbol, so we must invest in making sure our stakeholders can be confident in us, not just in De Beers, the industry and its totality. Upstream partners have confidence that we at De Beers are working to support their socio-economic objectives and acting as a responsible steward of their valuable natural resource. We invest in a huge amount of R&D. We ensure that the challenges relating to undisclosed synthetics can be addressed and everyone involved in the industry can buy with confidence.
It was in the industry press 3 years ago, when products with synthetics were just starting to gain popularity. And today, synthetics is only 20% cheaper than natural diamonds. There even were examples in which synthetic stones were worth as much as natural in retail shops, or even more expensive. Industry participants spent a lot of time discussing new market challenges, including trying to determine whether synthetics is a challenge or not. These discussions and doubts are surely, as that publication finally sent us back to the basic concept of our business. That is what diamond value is.
An intuitive panel discussion was followed by the speeches. Important panelists shared interesting perspectives on how to make mining more bankable by making more profound marketing approaches. They discuss ways in which they can entice more investors and consumers.
We talk a lot about partnership these days. I think it goes beyond just mining, price, volume. We're also looking at how do we drive the market at a polished level? How do we drive consumer demand? It's been the benefits of De Beers to do that for many, many years. We are looking at long-term marketing. I think what I was putting around financial transparency, as you know, our selection criteria has been very much around, we want to see that. We want to see good IFRS transparency. Why? It's not so much for De Beers, it's for the industry. It's for our customers to access much broader levels of capital coming into the business. We've seen roughly around $1 billion now of non-bank debt coming into the industry. How can we put things in place that gives the financial institutions much greater confidence?
And to me, it's the collaboration. It's the working with our clients to make sure that we are supplying them the goods that they need, and particularly in our case, making sure that the product that they produce finds a good market, a market that really wants a desirable Canadian product, and making sure that they're able to maximize their prices, and to make sure that the articles that they market come with all the added value that we feel is available to them and the business, and make sure that in every case, and I agree with the others, that this is a very bankable business.
Mining is, firstly, it's not easy, and it's not cheap. So not only do you have the cost of exploration, but when you do find a mine, it costs about $1 billion on average to develop a mine. So, I think when one talks about miners financing the pipeline further, we are actually financing the diamond industry hugely over the course of this cycle.
We as the mining company, we need to go to work with the poor ore, to spend more money for underground production. Yes, we have the sustainable resources base, but the production costs more and more. And in this case, that was one of the major points why we as Alrosa started our communication with De Beers about the generic promotion, because we need to make a decision like in geological research now and spend $100 million to be secured with our resource base, but we need to secure ourselves on the demand side also. And the only way is to go to the marketing. It doesn't matter which size of the production we're talking about.
And yes, we can do more marketing, which will help move the product through the pipeline more efficiently and perhaps at a higher price. But that will ultimately be realized by the rough. So I personally am for DPA and marketing, but I don't buy the fact that that will result to better improve profitability for the midstream. Therefore, what is it that we need to do as the midstream? If we want higher profitability, we need to raise the barrier to entry. Can we, as the midstream, raise the barrier to entry, become more important players that have to make higher investments, and therefore the margin that we will be able to retain will be a multiple of today's margin.
The panel discussion concluded with interesting remarks by the panelists who talked about the approaches the diamond industry must have to gain trust of financiers and in which way it should work with the midstream sector. It's time to take a very short break. We will be back with more highlights of the event after this short break. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, joined the delegation through video conferencing, and he commended the GJEPC for their efforts in bringing together various stakeholders of the industry from across the globe.
Count our jewelers with their skills, strengths, and heritage, create and change global tastes and fashions. In order to be able to influence and change global fashion, our industry first needs to have a thorough knowledge of its market. The industry collectively needs to study and understand the end user and what they want. For example, some areas and some groups may prefer gold, others silver, and yet others platinum. The basic point is that we cannot be world leaders without first connecting strongly with the client. E-commerce makes it much easier to establish direct contact with the end user. This is a golden opportunity for the Indian industry. The industry could think of encouraging startups by young entrepreneurs who can create a growing market for made-to-order Indian jewelry.
Day one of the two-day event came to an end with stimulating comments made by frontrunners of the Diamond Fraternity. In the concluding episode, more industrialists will share the stage and participate in panel discussions on the survival of the diamond industry and the international financial situation of the entire diamond market.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.